exciting, foreign, not traditional, a little scary, but mostly like that feeling when you're like, yes, like that.
Since day one, Corley Kenna knew Patagonia was where she was meant to be. Now, as the Chief Impact and Communications Officer, she helps the trailblazing outdoor brand continue to thrive by following one simple rule.
The reason we're trailblazers is because we are honest.
Who could argue with that? At Patagonia, transparency isn't just for the public. Their team values it too, especially when it comes to food.
I cannot deal with the smell of bananas. One of the guys that sits near me he eats one banana every day, and he eats it when I'm not around because he knows, and he's a very good colleague for this, how much I hate that smell.
Corley knows all too well that the way we talk about the things that matter to us is the first step to fixing them, whether it's about smelly bananas or saving our planet.
If we have any hope in solving for the challenges that we face, we're going to need a more honest approach.
I'm Camila Renta, and this is Impact After Hours, a show where changemakers sign off from work and log into life. Corley, welcome to the podcast.
It's great to be here, Camille.
I was so excited about this conversation because the timing could also not be more perfect. You just released this hefty impact report. So it's called Work in Progress, your 2025 impact report. My first question is, have you had any chance to relax at all after such a huge undertaking?
It was a massive undertaking, but we are so glad to see it out in the world and to see the reactions. And yes, in fact, I have. So the report came out last Thursday. We got to take the core team out to a celebratory dinner, which was a ton of fun. And then I slept a lot more than I usually do this past weekend. And the weather cooperated. Where I live in like the central coast of California, I like to say it is perfect weather 360 days a year. The past few days, it has been cold and rainy, but that is perfect for sleeping. So feeling great.
And before I, of course, ask about like your takeaway from this experience, I do want to quote your CEO, Ryan Gellert. There's a fantastic quote that really stuck with me as he was talking about Patagonia and the journey that it's taken on, like for, spanning 52 years, right, to get to where it is. And I quote, he said, "Sometimes it is messy, sometimes it is painful, but in the end, it is progress." When it comes to, Patagonia being this leader in sustainability and its role as a responsible business, how far has it come? And how far do you think it needs to go?
Great question. And I think in large part, it's why we titled this report not just an impact report, but a work in progress. We very much see ourselves as a company, as a work in progress. And I think we've come a long way. We've had 52 years to come a long way, so that's good. But we have a long way to go, and that's okay. Our founder, Yvon Chouinard, has for a long time talked about the company as a 100-year experiment. And I love that for a lot of different reasons. But one, it sort of gets out of the corporate mentality of quarter by quarter thinking and thinking about 50 to 100-year horizons. This notion of being an experiment in business, I think, like allows us to not to be beholden to a lot of the traditional kind of corporate structures and thinking and things like that. Also, just this notion of experimentation. Let's experiment with things and see what works, whether that's in our supply chain, whether that's in how we do our giving, whether it's how we approach campaigns. Let's not do it the same way over and over again. Let's try new things. Let's tinker until we get it just right.
I think if there's one of like many things you could say or describe Patagonia, it is literally like trailblazing. Literally thinking differently about how to be a business in this society, in this climate, and with everything that's going on. And I think maybe another question I had is, if you were to I don't know, walk on the street and someone asked you about one or two things from this report that would make them hopeful about the future, what would you say to them?
Yeah, one is more an observation that other people have called out to me. And I'm glad that it's catching people's attention, because it was very much our intention when we wrote this. But people are really struck by how honest it is and how honest our language is. And so if there's a takeaway, it's that, maybe this sounds strange for somebody in my profession, but that people are craving honesty right now. Don't try to spend people if you don't have all the answers. Don't try to, say something that's not true if it's not true. Be honest, and it gets you a lot further than you might think. And that's true in the corporate world, and, hopefully true in your personal life too.
I think that's one of the reasons why reading, reports from Patagonia, or just going through your website, articles, any sort of news coverage, I've always observed actually that there's that sense of like honesty in the language, and there's plenty of data, by the way, in the report.
Lots of data.
It's 150 pages, by the way, if anyone wants to dig into it. And data and insights, they're fantastic. We do need the evidence, but I think there's always that sort of authentic like tone of voice that Patagonia is known for. And that's why even culturally, the work that Patagonia has done has seeped into sort of day-to-day conversation, right?
I was just going to say, you used the word trailblazing before, and I don't know if being honest is trailblazing, but if it is, I'm glad to attach the reason we're trailblazers is because we are honest. We're doing what we're doing, like we're trying to share in this report where we're making progress, where we're not making progress, and all the places in between. And I don't know if we should get credit for being trailblazers for doing that. I do wish a lot of other companies, public, private, startup, and those that are twice as old as we are, would consider trailblazing just through honesty, because I think your communities are craving that. And certainly if we have any hope in solving for the challenges that we face, we're going to need a more honest approach.
And I love the call out. I love that I need to be corrected, and sort of in terms of naming that trait of Patagonia as a business, that it's not really trailblazing. It's honesty. It's just
doing what we know how to do. Yeah, not trying to be something different.
Is there something in your work, or as you do your day-to-day job, that you've taken less seriously after this amazing career that you've had and continue to have?
Yeah, I don't know if this is, maybe it's more of an after hours observation than a professional one. But just a lot of traditional like hierarchies and traditional structures, I think I'm taking less seriously. I think that's true of a lot of people. Times are changing, and so there's good traditions and ones that we should let go of. And I think for a lot of my life, I've put I've sort of thought about certain people. I'll just take my own father as an example, like put them on a pedestal as the wisest person and has all the answers. And my dad is very wise, but it's good to go beyond him for sources of information. He might not know everything. And so kind of rethinking the sort of hierarchy of sort of where you get your information and throwing away the traditions that don't work. I think that's something that maybe I'm taking, some of those notions of tradition I'm taking less seriously.
I never thought of it that way. You talking about how your father is, one of the wisest people in your life. I feel the same way about my own dad, and But then, growing up, I would say like there have been instances where, I literally went against the grain and, did not follow orders or the expectation. But to some extent, it has worked out.
Yeah.
So that's, I'll keep that in mind, but also still really listen to my dad because I think he is also truly one of the wisest people. Speaking of sort of this like blend of social impact and how much fun I guess we can also have, right?
Hopefully.
You said you celebrated with your team. How did that go? Was it like everyone really just having this like huge sigh of relief that the report is out in the world? Anything particularly, I don't know, interesting that happened during that celebration?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes this happens with celebrations. There's a little bit of commiserating along with it. And so,
oh my gosh,
so
yes.
We definitely had to go through the pain points that got us here. And that felt really good. But yeah, there were probably about 20 of us, and we went around the table and shared some of our favorite moments, some of the hardest moments. I think I maybe didn't realize how I was like, we're going to do this. And there was a lot of reminding me of that, which was a little scary to hear, but great. And it's so fun having it out there and having the world care about such a lengthy and what could be like seen as either wonky or nerdy or whatever, but people are really eating it up, and it's great to see.
So let's keep this celebration going, Corley, if you don't mind. I will kick us off with a lightning round of seemingly random questions. Are you ready to play?
Okay, yes. Let's do it.
Okay, well, you mentioned celebrating, but let's imagine that you're going out to dinner with friends.
Okay.
What kind of outfit would we usually find you in?
Almost certainly a cashmere sweater, ideally a recycled cashmere sweater, like the one I'm wearing now, and blue jeans.
Okay, so that's your go-to outfit. What is your favorite and least favorite smell?
Oh, easy for least favorite, and my team knows this well. Bananas. I cannot deal with the smell of bananas.
Literally any kind of banana?
Any kind of bananas. Yeah, my team knows. One of the guys that sits near me he eats one banana every day, and he eats it when I'm not around because he knows, and he's a very good colleague for this, how much I hate that smell.
Oh my God, Corley.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I have never met anyone who has named a banana.
Cannot deal.
Okay, then what is your favorite? If your banana's your least favorite, what could be your favorite smell?
I mean, all kinds of things. So I'll stick on food for a second.
Okay.
This is a weird one because I'm a pescatarian, have been since I was 11 years old. But I love the smell of bacon cooking in the morning. It's like homey and warm, and even though I don't eat it and have it for a very long time, that's just a smell that brings me back to a really happy place. Because it's raining and has been for the past few days. That smell after a rain, I think, which is called petrichor or something, I love that smell that just sort of reminds you of connection to the earth and being outside.
Mm-hmm. Both are amazing answers, and I love both of them equally because, well, one is the smell of bacon cooking. I feel like is the greatest, one of the greatest things you can wake up to, right? Like it's either there's some type of celebration or there's some type of gathering, or you're on vacation.
Yeah.
It's more than usually it's a positive thing that someone is cooking it.
That's right. It's like the start of a day too. It's like all those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Corley, if you were stranded on an island and could bring only one person with you, who would it be and why?
Oh my. Only one?
Only one. And you can apologize in advance if, you wanted to bring another person, and it just so happened that you can only bring one in this hypothetical situation.
Ay, ay, ay.
Okay, maybe to help you
I
out.
really don't know if I could do one.
Okay, I'll help you out.
I can tell you about the kinds of things that I would look for.
Yeah. So maybe one for companionship, and then maybe one for like who could help you actually survive.
I mean, I work at Patagonia, so I work with a lot of people who I would need on an island to help me survive. And we were just talking about this. We're planning an offsite for our full team. We're going to go to the Channel Islands, which is an incredible set of islands outside of the coast of Ventura, where our headquarters is. And we were naming all of the people who would be helpful should something go wrong. So this is a good sign. For companionship, gosh, I really struggle. I'm like blessed in my life to have friends from childhood and college, and then early in my career, mid-career, and now. But those they know who they are, the ones that make me laugh, that help, that ask really good questions. I love that in a friend. And yeah, so that's what I'm looking for my.
I'll let you off the hook, Corley.
Okay, thank you. My friends, thank you too.
Because you don't want to hurt any of your friends who are not named as a response. So, okay, so you're on an island. What is a book that you wish you could reread for the first time?
Gosh, it's a book I actually recently read, and it was so full of things that are relevant today, and it's rich in history, and that's Katharine Graham's Memoir. And so even though I recently read it, I think that's the book I would read again.
Awesome. And okay, so speaking of, we talked a little bit about celebrations earlier. Fill in the blank.
Okay.
Today's small victory was blank.
Getting my dog to go outside in the rain when she just looked at me like, turn it off.
Oh my gosh.
She's not happy.
Actually, that's a good segue, because I remember how you described your dog to me when we first met, calling your dog impossibly cute and mean.
Yes.
Please tell us why. And first of all, what kind of dog do you have, and what's the name?
Yeah, her name is Bear, and she's a Havanese. She's 10 pounds. She is definitely one of the quirkiest creatures to ever walk this earth. Glad to give a few examples. And she is impossibly cute, and she wants nothing to do with anybody except for me. And I can't explain it.
Corley, let's stop at you naming. Did you say Bear?
Bear, yeah. And it's Bear. My Southern accent somehow comes out when I say it. She's not named after aspirin. She's actually named after this incredible place in Utah called Bears Ears National Monument.
Okay.
But yeah, it's bear like the animal, not bear like aspirin.
But also just 10 pounds.
Just 10 pounds.
That's the connection I'm trying to make.
Yes. 10 pounds of love.
10 pounds of love. Oh my gosh, Bear. I was telling you before we started recording that we welcome dog cameos.
You have 100-pound dog, though.
Exactly. And who
amazing
barges into my studio all the time. Sometimes I have to lock my door because, it could be a meme. I know that there was a viral video from, I don't know how many years ago that was, where someone was doing an interview, I think on BBC or something. And,
oh, yeah.
And this kid just walked in the door. My dog would do the same. My kid would also do the same. But they're such huge distractions. And
I don't know how Bear knows how to open doors, like with her little 10-pound body, but she knows how to open a door. In fact, my neighbors called the other day and they were like, did you know your dog's outside? Nope, definitely did not.
oh my gosh.
How did she do that? Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess that's the thing with Bear, right? Like, because she is only 10 pounds, she could be anywhere in your house. And that's not the case for our dog River, our 100-pound Great Pyrenees mix, because you will see him.
Yeah.
Like he's not hard to spot.
Yeah.
He takes up a huge amount of space in our house. Okay, so we mentioned that you are almost, I mean, like you're close to celebrating your 10th year in Patagonia. In 5 words or less, how would you describe what your first day of work was like in your current role?
Exciting, foreign, not traditional, a little scary, but mostly like that feeling when you're like, yes, like that.
I love the actual like gesture, Corley. So hopefully, please, for anyone who's tuning into this episode, you gotta watch us on YouTube so that you could see Corley do the thing with a yes. But you said foreign. How so?
Yeah. So I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, went to school in New Hampshire, spent the first part of my career in DC and then New York. So like total East Coast nomad. I knew nothing about California. In fact, when I came out for the interview, I had a white knuckle grip on the drive from LAX to Ventura because I also wasn't used to driving a car. So everything about this place was new and different and foreign.
Is there a world where you can say, okay, this work, the social impact communications, has gotten easier? Or what do you think? Because I don't want to identify like exactly where I am in my career, to be quite honest, because it's always changing. It's always evolving. But to, being sort of on the other side because of the amount of experience that you've had, and then someone listening to us who is just wanting to like start out.
I don't know that the work necessarily ever gets easier. Certain tasks get easier for sure. But part of what's fun about being in communications, being about impact, just even thinking about the role that companies can have in the lives of people and communities, all of that is forever evolving. And therefore, maybe the second it starts to feel easier, it's changing again, right? I just think about the changing nature of the media landscape. In the old days, I wasn't working for a company, but when I worked on Capitol Hill or when I worked on a campaign, we would do clips by reading through actual newspapers, cutting out articles, taping them, and then faxing them to whoever else needed to see it. Like all of that is so antiquated today, right? And the volume of information is so different. So, I mean, all of it's not easier. You're always learning. That's a good thing. I think certain tasks you just get more comfortable doing. But yeah, I think the world just doesn't work that way, that things just become easier. Yeah. The more you know, also, the harder it gets sometimes.
You're a self-proclaimed media junkie. But these days, what has been your go-to after-hours media, Corley? What have you been watching, reading, or listening to lately?
So
apart from your report.
Yeah. Thank you. Fiction is a great escape. I'm reading a book right now called Mad Woman. And one thing I like to do when I read books is after I finish it, do like a 1 or 2 sentence sort of review. And then I really think about who would like this. And I love it when people give me books. And so in this case, this book I'm reading, one of my best friends from college, she gave it to me. And so I'm enjoying that right now after hours. I just finished watching The Diplomat, which I really enjoyed. I don't know if you've seen that on Netflix, but sort of brought me back to my State Department days, even though that's not really how I remember the State Department, but it's fun and enjoyable and and a good release.
Oh my gosh. I love the idea of sitting or sort of contemplating after you've read a book and thinking about who would love it. I guess I can see, like, you know, I have like maybe 4 TBRs, you know, to be read books, or some that I'm still finishing. But I want to start doing that actually, because every book has its own, like, I don't know, like personality, or someone that you know would enjoy it more than another person probably who also loves books.
Yeah. And especially, I mean, there's some books you want to hold on to, but most books are great to give away. And so, and a lot of times I can't give the book to the person I want to give it to because they live too far away. So I'll give it to somebody else. But it's a fun exercise to think, who else would enjoy this? So maybe I'll shoot them a quick note to say, hey, just finished this. You might enjoy it too. Because I love getting those notes from my friends too.
Okay, so Corley, good tip. I will, if there's a book, I will, and feel that, okay, this is something Corley might like just based on what we talked about. I will keep you in mind. But also, my own, I would say it's like, I feel like it's kryptonite for me. Even at conferences or like work-related stuff, if they give out free books, I am there. I am in line. Sometimes I don't even care what they give out. Yeah. I'm like, I will decide later if I like it or not.
Totally.
But if it's a free book, I will get it.
Yeah.
And living in New York, sometimes I'm like, I did not prepare for this. I should have brought like a tote bag of some sort so that it's easy to carry, you know, around with me rather than just like, you know.
You could tell the experienced event organizers are the ones that give away tote bags and books because they really should go together.
Yes. And you know that it'll be a hit.
Yeah.
Like they know that people will love that kind of giveaway at that conference. Corley, this has been so fun.
Camille, my pleasure.
Before I let you go, is there anything else that you want to share with our listeners? Anything else that's coming up for you and Patagonia?
Well, what we talked about at the beginning, the progress report, check it out if you haven't already. I think all your listeners will enjoy it. There's something literally for everybody in there.
Corley, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
This was so fun. Thank you, Camille.